Right. Welcome to today's session. We are looking at Java, Object Oriented Programming 2. And in today's session, I want us to look at uh, the general review of what we did last time. Secondly, we are going to look at objects and classes, syntax, access modifiers, identifiers, and also look at the methods if we'll be able to have that time. Uh, First things first, I want to believe that you are able to install NetBeans, and it should be working. Number two is that I want to believe that you are able to install the JDK and configured it. That is also another important step for us. If you have completed those, then we are perfect to go, because those are very critical things that needs to be covered. So I believe that you'll have some two devices around you. One is for your following, the other one is for your practical session. NetBeans is there. I think mine is working, and you can be able to see it on the screen. That was the first thing that we did. So we are going to write as many codes as possible as we move on. So may I first of all get the responses whether we all managed to install ours or you did not manage to install. So back to you. It's an open session so that we can talk a little bit one by one. I think Adolcock, you left the class earlier before, and it's not a good character when you are in class until when I finish with going through the attendance. That's when you have finished the class. Alex Lee, Braila Wanjala, Bran Masumbuko, Bran Mochama, I think.
Yeah.
Have we all installed the softwares? Do we have our NetBeans working and JDK configured? Anybody who has not done it, can we get the reasons why? So we can have 2 to 3 people sharing their screen a little bit so that we can attest whether this has been achieved or not. So when you hear your name, you display your screen a little bit to show your NetBeans are available and running. Therefore, Anita, counts, show your screen. Then Nicole will display, and then Yankee Agai will display. Those ones will be enough to showcase whether they are able. Let's go with that order faster.
So I'm still installing NetBeans.
Why are you waiting for today? Yet I shared the links and everything in the last
Okay,
session.
okay, I registered the unit last week on Sunday, so I didn't get the announcement.
Even if you registered on Sunday, you were to do the unit. I had shared all the requirements and all the links. Ted, show yours. Ted, are you getting us? Can you hurry up because we want to teach? No, it's not about just reading notes here, showing what is what. I want you to be doing these things without installing the softwares. Now, what are we doing here? I should stop this class.
Hello, it's Nicole. Should I share or I
Yes,
should
yes.
wait?
Proceed, my dear. Yes, proceed, my dear. Sure.
Hello, hi. Oh, yeah, here's my net beans. Hello, hello.
Yes, proceed.
Hello.
Yes, Nicole. I can see something there. Good.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay.
Aha. I can see yours is much good. Yours is much good. Aha. Ted is not there. Bran, Bran Mochama. Then Jacinta Cavalli. You can show so that we can move faster.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Proceed.
I joined on Monday. I registered for this unit on Monday. So I'm not installed it yet.
Hey, people here did not get the links. I thought people were in the group. Uh-huh. Anybody else? I think I've called several people. I've called several people. Please, you can share your screen. Okay. People don't want to talk. People don't want to show anything. Keep on. Handle this very fast. Okay, let's look at this Java. In last time I did the introduction. So today let's look at what is Java, environmental setup. Basic syntax, objects and classes. Then we have constructors, data types and variables. We also look at the operators and then the control flows. I'll go with it very fast, then you'll have some lecture notes to look at. Now, the story of Java, we looked at it and we said that it was developed by Gosling at Sun Microsystems in 1991. Originally, it was called the OAK, that is after the tree outside his office fall. Publicly, then it was released in 1995 as Java 1 version 1.0. And there was a promise that write once and run anywhere. That was the slogan. Then in 2006 to 2007, they then released another free and open source, which was licensed by the GNU, Google profile licensing, public Google public licensing, GPL. And today it's a very powerful tool that run billions of devices worldwide. Within the editions that were there, I think we talked about them in the last session. We said the Java SE, that is the standard edition. We have the Java EE, that is the enterprise edition for large scale and distributed web apps, and also the servers. And then we talked about the Java Me, which is the micro edition for mobile and embedded devices. That is much well explained. The key features of Java, we say that Java is widely used because it's object oriented. That means that everything is an object and they are easily extended by the object model. Therefore, once everything is an object, you can be able to build them into a modularized format, whereby you can have different classes and different methods, and all of them now being called into one main class to be executed. We say that it's also platform independent. That means that compilation to bytecodes, you only need to run any Java virtual machine that supports writing once and running anywhere ability. Then the other one is the secure. It's the virus free. We have the temper free systems via the public key encryptions that happens within the system. And we also have the robustness, which means that there is a strong compile time and runtime error checking, where it can easily identify for you where the errors are, point for you where they are, what is the error, so that you can be able to work on it and correct it. The other feature of multi-threaded That means that it is possible and it is very easy for you to build interactive apps that perform many tasks simultaneously without having a lot of sluggishness or hanging around. We also have high performance, which we say that just in time compilers boost execution speed and you get to receive the best applications that are working at a higher uh, speed rate. That is very, very important for you to note. And also, we have distributed. Since they are all over and they can be accessed anywhere and you can run anywhere once you have written, then they are designed for internet and distributed environments. You just need to add some libraries or some functionality codes to access the internet functionalities. You can as well as build the web apps within it, which are purely online based. Although we also have those ones that are offline based, which you can install them in the desktops, but still you can easily interlink them and they can work across the internet and listen to the internet connectivity. Then we have dynamics, which means that they carry runtime information to verify and resolve object access on the fly, which is very, very, very keen. On the Java environmental setup, we say that you need to download JDK, which we said you visit oracle.com and then go to the Java SE downloads, select the Windows, and then you can download and run the setup, the installer.exe file. We also say that you need to set the environment variables, whereby we said you go to my computer, go to properties, go to advanced area, and then you will see environment variables, or you simply open the window button, search for environment edit, and then you can easily access it. Then we said once you are there, you have two sections, the system variables and you have the environment variables. So you are to go to the other side and then edit the parts that I had said to be edited and have that extension there. To verify the installation, we said you have to open your terminal, then check the version, and also try to execute any Java code that you have. And that, I believe you are able to do that. Then we say that these codes have to be written. We are not going just to write them anywhere. We can use Notepad++, we can code using NetBeans, IDE, and then we can as well as code using VS Code. And we also have Eclipse for Java. So I think we opted out for NetBeans and you've downloaded it, you've installed it. I guided through all that. Then the hello world code, I think we did that. And we say that always you start with access modifiers, that's public. Then the class name. So you use the word class, then you have to give the class name. So for this case, our class name is my first Java program. You open the curly braces and then you can add either a comment where you want to explain what your code is going to do, or you want to declare or state who is the author of your code, the year, the date, or any info that you want to use for your code. Then you can start with the main class because here we are not declaring any variables. So you can start with the main class where all execution of a program will start from. That is, use the access modifier public, static, then you can, because we are going to print out a string, then we can use void. Then we have to use main class. Then you state all the strings that you want to be executed. If you have, if you don't have, you leave them in the array status 0, so empty. And then you have the arguments. Then you can say system capital S dot out print line. Then this is where you can declare the executable statement that you want to be displayed on the screen. So our text is hello world, and that's why you see hello world has been printed out outside here. As after compilation and running, that is the output. Now, what is public class? We say that you declare a class named my first Java program file must match the class name within the Java. And the main, we say the entry point of every Java program starts here. And then you have the system out print line, which we say is used to print a text followed by the new line to the console. Now, our first code, if we can be able to see here, is in this manner. And we said if you run this code, let's say this way. So this is the output, if we can be able to see it here. So this is what you have here. Assume that you want this output here to be separate lines. What do you do? Then you'll have to work on this area here. You can say maybe backslash line. So once you use that backslash line, then you do this way, then it will easily show you that this one you have said that let it go move to the next line, and the text will be worldwide. World. So if we save this and then we rerun this, let's rerun this. Now you see our results, how they have now appeared. So they are now in two separate lines because we have modified something here. So that is how you can be able to make these things work in that manner, or moving to the next line and so on. So we shall look at them in another area. Now we have understood that. Let's look at some syntax rules and identifiers. So we say that identifiers or class names or Java is case sensitive, whereby identifiers are always case sensitive. When you're using identifiers, you need to know that how do you declare them, how do you set them up, because when you say hello, the capital H and the hello small h, they are different. So the class names, like my first class there, the first letter of each word is uppercase. So you use the Pascal case to write the class names. The method names, when you are using method names, you can start with the lowercase my, then start with the lowercase, and then the inner words should use the camel case. That is the inner words capitalized. So in method names, you use the camel case style. while in the class names you use the Pascal case type. File names, you can start with my class, then followed by the extension of the programming language used, that is Java. So file name must match the public class name exactly. Therefore, we are also saying that main method, the public static void uh, main string is every program must have the main method, which is mostly used here. Let's look at object-oriented programming, some four core pillars and keywords concepts. So what are the four core pillars of Java object-oriented programming? One is encapsulation. What is encapsulation? We say a bundled data and a method. The technique of hiding internal details with access modifiers for the code, or in terms of private, public, and protected. So when you are using things like public class, this public void, and whatever, so you are making them to be accessed everywhere. So they are public. But when you set them private, it means that it can be accessed by those authorized, but all the classes or all the methods within the class will be able to access it. But when it's protected, then that one is much encrypted, and therefore, unless authorized by both ends, that's when it can be able to work well. Then we have inheritance, which is a class that can extend another. We talk about reusing the fields and methods. So you can have the existing class, which is the superclass, and then the new classes that you'll be able to create are called the subclasses. Then polymorphism. Polymorphism we mean is one interface can take more than or many forms. An object behaves different based on their actual type at the runtime. Like an animal is a mammal, a cow is a mammal, a human being is a mammal. So, what are the existing forms for a mammal? One is an animal, two is a cow, three is a human being. So, all of these are mammals. So, when an object takes into more than three forms, then it becomes polymorphism. Abstraction is where we say you show only essential features while hiding the complexity using the abstract classes and interfaces. For instance, the car. You don't see the gearbox, but you just see the accelerators and the changing gear uh, buttons. But you don't see how the gearbox works, how the accelerator engine operates inside, but you are just seeing accelerate button where you have to step your leg on. So much of these other things have been hidden at the background. So that's the abstraction. So you can have the functionality of the system that people just interact with the buttons, but the inner functionalities are hidden from them. Let's look at classes and objects and some examples. Public class dog. So a dog has got several instances. They can breed, they have age, they have colors. These dogs also can do certain activities or reactions. They can do the barking, they can show that they are hungry, and three, they can be sleeping. Now, breaking down these dog classes, we say that an instance variable such as breed, age, and color, they are used to store the dog's state. Then, when you create the object as an instantiated value, then you need to state what further can the dog do in terms of the age, the color, and then the breed. Because you will have to declare what color is the dog, brown or what, black, so on. Age, is it 10, is it 5, is it 6, is it 2, and so on. So methods of this class are the barking, are now the actions or the activities that the dog can do, not just their physical appearance and their key features or attributes. So they can do the barking, the hungry, sleeping. So you define these behaviors by adding some logical functionalities on them. Then you have creating an object, which is a dog. Then you initialize it using my dog. Then you give the new dog array functions where you can now state all the the features about the dog. So new allocates the heap memory or the section memory, be able to, and the call instructors to work on the dog issue. So we have different types of variables. Local variables, which are declared inside the method or a block. And then we have the instance variables, which are declared in a class outside the methods, one per object. And then we have static, which are declared with static functionalities or static keywords, which are shared across all the instances. Now, before we look at the constructors, we can write or we can do something small. Let's look at the constructors first before we embark to do other things. But we can speak about something before these instructors. We say that when you're talking about Java variables, and we have already said about the two, we have what are called Java modifiers, which we shall be able to look at them. Let's look at Java enums. Enums were introduced in Java 5.0 to help restrict variables to have one of only a few predefined values. Therefore, that means that the value in the enumerated list are called enums. And how do we achieve that in terms of the enumerations? We say that we can be able to write a small code. Let's say this is displaying enumerations. While we look at that section, let's open this inside here, the package. Inside the package, we can right click and then we can say let's add a package here, and this package we can use it as Java enum. So inside Java enum, we want to show Java enumerations, enumerated lists, how they are used. So we can start here a class, and we can call the class fresh juice. Fresh juice. And remember, we are using our new package that we have created called Java enum, and we are saving it. It's still inside our coding environment. So after doing this fresh juice class, then we can finish. So let's do that faster. So I'm going to clear here, then leave this one here. So you can have public class called fresh juice, and inside this fresh juice we want to, so here we can say the code to implement enumerated, it's called what, enumerated list, enumerated list, enumerated list called enums. So that's a comment just to show you that. So for you to do that, first of all, you have to declare the names that you want to enumerate, codes that you want to enumerate. So you can say enum, then start with the Java class, then assign the size. Then we can be able to provide the size with what we need here. So what is the size of this fresh juice? So we are going to give it some enumerated values or enumerated list. Small, we can talk medium, and then we can talk large. So after that, we can now say the fresh juice size, and then we initialize this variable with this called the size, so that now can be able to come down here and create a method to work on the enumerated values, the enumerated lists. So you can have here public class Then we can say fresh juice test. Let's have a class there called fresh juice test, and within that we can be able to have it inside here. We can be able to have now our main class, here. Our main now here is the main methods to execute the whole code, to compile and execute the whole code. So what happens here? We can be able to now to have here public static void main. Then we can say our string array, give the arguments if available. Then we can be able to have that. So that's what we can be able to do here. So once we have this, we can now be able to call our class here fresh juice, and then initialize it with a variable juice, and then assign the memory locator to give it the space to store the variables that it contains, or the elements that it contains. Now we had also talked about the sizes, so we have to assign it so that we can be able to assign it to this that we declared up here. So we are going to say size equals to, and remember this size is what we had declared here about the fresh juice size. So we are assigning it here to our class, to our main class, which we have also initialized there. Now once we do this, now we can be able now to give our fresh juice class, concatenate it with the fresh juice size, where we have now to assign it with the exact size of our enumerated value for it to listen to. So that one is assigned well. Then we can now print it out. System.out.println. Then we can be able to declare here something. So we can say what is the size, and that size we can be able to concatenate it with. Now we use this class, this declared variable here as a pointer to that, so that it can be able to just point to this, and for it now to show what is the size of our juice, which is medium, as per our enumerated value. This is our enumeration, because we want to find the size of our value there. So once we have done this, what is the expected results? Since here is what you're printing, remember what have you assigned here as the juice size. The juice size has been assigned the medium. So what is the expected output of this code is medium, even before you can be able to do anything. So the expected results here is medium as the size of the juice of your fresh juice. And that is very, 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 very important. Yes. So this one comes from here, ends here. No, 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 no. This should have ended here, so that can be able to. This one started here. Let me see where it ends. Yes, so I can do that. So the fresh tests came from here. This one comes from here, ends here. This one comes from here, it ends here. Fresh juice tests. Mhm. So you can have this. Let me see here. Could be causing this. Alright, we cannot use two public classes twice. So this one is a public class here. So here we can remove this public and it solves the problem. So that we can have this. Yes, we do this. Public class and fresh juice sizes. If we do here the outs. This one, fresh juice tests. This must have a different class. Fresh juice. Um, we have to have fresh juice tests. We have to okay. Okay. Assumption error. Main. This is public. Should be declared in a file name juice. Let's juice.java. Java new tests. Mm, we can as well as stop it. Then we can do this and then add this here. So that all of them are inside this. So that when I run this, public class, let's see this. First, it does not have a main method. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have a main method. Mm, can do this. Then I can create this. Let's see. Yes, so that is the results. You can be able to see it there as the output. So when you look at that here, we are getting that now the size of our fresh juice is the medium, which we had assigned this to our class as the value. So that is how you can be able to use enum or enumerated lists to be able to assign or declare the size of our value. So with the enum, it is possible to reduce the number of bugs in your code. And also, for example, if you can consider an application for a fresh juice shop, it will be possible for you to restrict the glass size to small, medium, or large to make sure that it would not allow anyone to order any size other than the small, medium, or large that you wanted. So you can declare them so that you restrict any person who wants to get like extra large, extra medium, or smallest from the smaller one that you have, and so on. So that is the purpose of using the enumerated list within your area. Uh, Within the main class here, you have set string arguments in the array setup. So Java arrays helps you to store multiple variables of the same type. Although that array itself is an object on the heap of your coding space. So mostly you declare them and you also construct and we also initialize some of them. So we can be able to look at that when we shall be looking at the constructors and so on. We have also had what are called comments, and you've seen the types of comments. This one here is the block comments, where you have the star and then you end with this star and then backslash. While these ones here are single line comments, which you can just comment one line of code also here, and yeah, so you should be able to know how to use comments in your coding, and make it so easy. So comments support a single line and multiple lines in your working. So all characters, variables inside any comments are always ignored by the Java compiler. So there is also usage of blank lines, and when you use a blank line, normally it contains a white space that is possibly with the comment. And mostly these are what are called, so when you use these blank lines here or here, you can see some spaces there, then those are called the blank lines. Inheritance, we are saying, is that when the class can be derived from another class. Basically, if you need to create a new class from the already class that you have, then that is what's called inheritance. You can inherit it from any other place. Now, Java supports fundamental concepts, and these concepts include things like message passing, method, instances, objects, classes, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So all these things are very, very important. I'll write some code of a class. Then from there, you will be able now to explain certain things about classes very fast, and those constructors and so on. So the purpose here is just to write some small codes, and then you can easily work on them. Now, for what we have talked about a class being having what are called the behaviors and the features, attributes. So we say that the attributes of a dog, they can breed, they have a breed, they have the age and the color. But yet they also have some behaviors or activities. They can bark, they are hungry, or they are asleep. So how can we be able to ensure that this can be done within that? Then how can we be able to show a constructor inside the code? Then how can we be able to show some functionalities of a dog or a puppy or any elements that we have? So you see, those are very, very important things. So we can maybe write a code to show a complete thing about the puppy, the code, the constructors, how to show the methods inside there, and so on. So how do you access all that is what is very, very important. So for us to show both constructors, for us to show some methods and how you can be able to initialize all these methods, instance variables and the methods within, how you can access the instance variables and method of a class, then we can be able to have a small code for us to do that. Now we can write a small code here. I believe you have written this one and you've executed it. And it has given you the results. Are we in the same page, or we have not managed to do that? Have we managed? It's an interactive session. People are so silent. Are we okay? Hello, Johnson. Have you written the code? Unmute and speak.
Yes, I have.
All right. Um, I think I need to open a new project here. Go to Java. What did I have? This is CMT 211. Yes. And if I go to the new, that's where I have fresh juice here. That's the code that we have had. So if somebody has not written it, you can be able to write it. Be able to come here to the appearances. So I hope the code is clear there. Now, assume that we want to show the functionalities about instance variables and methods. So we can have a package here being created, and we can create a package inside here. Can create here a package, and I'm going to name a package access instance variables and methods. Instance variables and methods. Like that. Instance variables and methods. So I think that one is okay there, or we can do that. Instance variables and methods. So that's the new package I'm creating. as well as create that new package. So inside this package, we are going to create a class called puppy. For instance, let's have here a class called puppy, which is a dog, small small baby dog. So inside this class, we're going to do some things here. So because we have to do some instance variables and so on, all of them needs to be looked at. The network is lost. Can be able to. Hello. All right.
Okay.
We can proceed with the coding end that we want. Right. So we were working on this code. So you have created the package and we've added a class called puppy, right? Have we finished that? Or I left it behind?
We are slightly behind.
Oh, I said add a package and then call it instance variables and methods. Then inside that, create a class, call it puppy, so that we can have it here as shown for us to start working on it. Once you are done, you let me know. Now, an object, or sorry, the class, we said earlier that a class provides a blueprint for objects. That is what we said earlier. That's what we said earlier. So we say that a class provides a blueprint for objects. So basically what we mean here is that object is created from a class. Therefore, in Java, we have some new keywords that are being used when creating new objects. So we shall look at this, but you need to know them, that there are 3 steps when creating an object from a class. So what are these three steps that we use to create an object from a class? One is declaration. One is declaration. And in declaration, a variable with a variable name is declared with an object type. A variable declaration with a variable name with an object type. Then in the instantiation, what happens here is that the new keyword is used to create the object. You saw what we did in the earlier code where we were saying fresh juice equals to new fresh juice function equals to new fresh juice function. So we introduced the word new to create a memory locator for the object fresh juice. Now, the new keyword is used to create an object, and that object refers to the class that we declared earlier. Then we have the third step, which is initialization. In the initialization, the new keyword is followed by a call to a constructor. It's followed by a call to a constructor. And what we mean here is that the call will play a better role to initialize the new object. So for instance, you are talking about public class puppy. Then you have the public puppy string. Then you give the features of the puppy. We said that a puppy has got a name, and then you declare it. So for you to declare the name of the name of the puppy, you can use a constructor with a parameter inside that, whereby you can say system out print line, then you can say past name is, and then like what we did in the last, we said juice size equals to, and then okay, when we were printing out the print system out print line, then inside there we say size, then we concatenated it with the juice size. So how did we bring the juice size there after the plus sign, which is the concatenation function? Yeah, we are joining. So we brought that juice size because we had already declared it there and we had assigned the value to be the medium, so that now when we print out the size, it can be able to display the exact name of that juice on the other end. So that is what we mean there. If it is puppy and you want to assign it the name, then you can as well as do that. But now, when you use a statement to create an object, then we can be saying that we are using an object to create an object from the class, or to instantiate it from the class as what we could require. For example, you can say puppy, my puppy equals to new puppy, and then you give a name of the puppy inside the brackets, so that you assign it directly without you struggling with it. Then the issue about access identifiers is that we are saying instant variables and methods are accessed via the created objects. Therefore, to access an instant variable, you need to fully declare it inside. our classes. So that's what we want to look at so that we can write that code very fast. Now, in short, what is a constructor? Now, talking about constructors, objects, and so on, we need to look at that. We shall look at that section. First of all, let us write this. Let's write a code to show object instance, access instance, and methods, constructors, how they are implemented inside that, for us now to have a better understanding when we look at that. So we can create a code here called this puppy. So I believe you have finished this. Are we together there? Have you done this? Can we start coding it now? Yes? Johnson, we there?
Yeah.
Paul Miner, we there? Or you are just on your own world?
We are there.
Okay. Now we can, I can open this, then go to the instance here, can open this so that we can write that code there very fast. So already you can see my my Copilot coding has already done for me some things here. But we can still write several things here on our own, apart from what it has given you to apart from what it has given us to declare here. So I think I'll remove all this so that we can be able to declare our own int. You can say int puppy age because you want to have the age of the puppy. So that is the age of the puppy, and within this age of the puppy, you would wish to write public and then declare that constructor there so that it can be able to give us the name of that puppy. So what are we doing here? We can be able to say that this constructor is a constructor has the parameter of the name there. So that is very, very important. And from there, then we can easily uh, give that. You can easily give that the public void class there, and we can as well as assign both the set age and get age, because now we have to get. So system out, we want to print out the name of the puppy. So what is the name of the puppy is the one that we have declared inside the string area here for our puppy. Now this age needs to be set and also needs to be obtained. So what do you do here is that we have to set the age of the puppy and assign it the integer age. So you would have even also declared it here and then now just give here the age. But now there's no need since we can still do that inside our parameter area there. So we have to assign the puppy age and give it the age and also get the age of this puppy. So as we get the age of the puppy, are we returning the puppy age? Yes. But then, have we printed out the name of the puppy? We have not. So we have to print the name of the puppy by saying system out print line, and then we can declare the puppy's age. So the age of the puppy is, then we can be able to call what we had assigned here as the integer, which we have already set here the age to it. So it is here. And then we can now return the value for that, the age of the puppy. So I want you to move with that speed faster so that we can be able to work on that. So after that, now we can be able to have the main class here now. Thereby now we can be able to declare all this and assign them some values there. So we are going to do the public static main. So here we are starting with the, so here is the main method to help us work on print out all that we have done up there. So we are giving the puppy and we are assigning it here as an instance variable, which we had already created. Here you can be able to see we are initializing our main class here. So we are assigning it this value here to point to our main class on that. So this is our main class. So we use this one to initialize that. Now we have to introduce the new to instantiate or to initialize. So we have used that as an instance of a variable to initialize and assign some memory space to our puppy, and we are giving the name of our puppy to be Tommy. So Tommy is the name of our puppy. Then we also have to set for it the age, which is 2, so that now we can now use our declared method here, which we have already used that to instantiate, now to assign it the value or the age that we have already set here for it to print out. After doing that, we can now be able to, so here, what are we doing here? The object creation. So the first thing that we have done here is we are doing the object creation. So this is the object. This is the object creation, or creating an object of the puppy class and calling its method. Then after doing that, so here is where we are calling the method, and then we are assigning, setting the age of the puppy, and then call the get method to obtain that age of that puppy. So that is what happens here. And for this one here, we are getting the method to print out the age of the puppy so that you can easily see that age of the puppy being assigned to it. Okay, so there is something that we can as well as add here, is that you can also access an instance of a class generally as a better way. So we can say that you can access the instance, you can access the instance variables directly here by now assigning that which is very uh, so here we can print out that my puppy dot puppy age, and then we can be able to have it closed, yeah, like that. So this one means that now you can access the instance variables and methods directly using the object references, like that, so that you don't have to declare it all the time. So you can just directly access it in that manner. So that's why we have that. So system out print line accessing the instance variable directly. And what is the instance variable that we are accessing? We are accessing my puppy age instead of accessing it using the method. So you can do this directly here and you have the results done. So for here, you can change the age maybe from 2 to maybe 5 or maybe 6, like that, so that you can be able to get the results perfectly. So the name of the puppy, we have the age of the puppy and the variable value of the puppy can as well as be displayed there. So that is very important thing that we need to look at. So I believe that you have also finished the code so that we can be able to. Are we there? Or some people have remained behind? Let me save that code. So when I come back here, you can be able to see I have also finished the code in this end because I accessed it using the the, the VS code here. So that I code from here as it displays this on the other end. So have we finished or are we somewhere? So let's finish with that. So the code is attached there on your side, and the key thing that we have mentioned is that we have said constructors, what they do, and their types. We have said a constructor is it's used to initialize an object when it is created. There are two types. We have said one is no argument constructor and two is parameterized constructors. We have said no argument constructors do not accept any parameters. Instead, they are using the constructors just to instantiate the variables of a method and initialize them with the values for all the objects. For instance, num equals to 100 or the number equals to 100 or 20, age equals to 10. You see, when you mention like that. You see here where we are saying my puppy set age, then we are saying age colon 6. So instead of saying that, you can write here that age equals to 6. So when you do that, then you're using the no argument constructor. So the next thing is that parameter constructors. This is where we are saying that the parameters are added to a constructor. They accept one or more parameters. in short, whereby you can declare, for example, int equals to x, and then you can say my class equals to integer I. Then you equate x to I, meaning that now what is the age of or what is the class integer value? It is I, and which was initialized using the integer x. So you can say x equals to I, and you are done with that. So we can look at something else. First of all, can you run this? Can you test this? Run this and see. So you can see what you have here as the output. So it says that the name of the puppy is Tommy, the age of the puppy is 6, accessing instance variable directly is 6, which is directly on what we wanted to see. Uh, I think if you have not finished, you can finish with it in that area. Okay, we can proceed now that you have these issues solved on your end. Let me explain some contents here. Okay. Constructors, we said we have two types of constructors: no argument and parameterized constructors there. You say public class, my class, int num, and then you are initializing a number with a fixed value, like 100 or 10 or whatever, then you are using no argument constructors. While in parameterized constructor, we are saying you can declare it and then you can assign a custom value on it to display that. So each object can be initialized with different values passed in at creation time. So this enables the flexibility, reusability of that class everywhere. While in a no argument constructor, it initializes all the objects with the same fixed values. Therefore, the Java will provide you with a default constructor automatically if none is defined. So I hope you have finished that. Let's look at data types. Data types. We have bytes, bits, floats, integers, long, and all these data values, booleans.
Hello, I think your speaker is on mute, like we can't hear you.
Oh, all right. Sorry for that, but I know within the recording you listen to what I've said instead of me repeating it again. The recording is there. I think I've communicated. Um, I was explaining about this. So having looked at all these two, saying about the data types, and I think we've done a lot of data types that relates to the bytes, the photo, the integers, the long, the floats, the doubles, and the booleans, and know how they can be used, so how they can be declared, and so on. Then we also have what are called the Java operators. So we have different types of operators. We have arithmetic operators, relational operators, logic operators, and assignment operators. So arithmetic operators are like adding, subtraction, multiple, divide, increment, and decrement. We have relational operators where you are combining arithmetic operators with any other, like with the equal signs or greater than or less than signs. Then you get the results. Then we have the logical ones which checks two sides, and, or, and not. You remember each even when you are dealing with the logics, the Boolean logics. So then we have the assignment operators where you have the assign, doing, like when you say plus equals to, which one will happen first? Will it equate and then do the addition first, or will it add and then do the equation first? Like I say, 5 plus equals to 1. What will be the results? Or 6 plus or equal. What will be the next value? Will it be 7 or will it be 6? And then now start moving. Prefix and postfix. That's what we are trying to ask. Yeah. That's what you'll look at that. Then we have the control flow where we are talking about the loops and the decisions. So when you'll be talking about the while loops where you have a condition, testing the conditions before the loop be body. So mostly they may not execute if the false from the start is detected. Then when you're using the for loops, then it means that the compact loop with some initializers, the conditions and the update in one line can take place. So you can have your init value like for I, then I is less than 10, then you can do I plus plus or I minus minus or minus minus 10 or minus minus 5. So you can use the postfix or prefix values there for the update section. Then you have the do while where you can do the looping, testing the conditions after the body. So it is the opposite of the while. Then you do the do while. In the while, you do the looping before the body. While in the do while, you test the condition after the body. then you can now execute at least once. Then you have enhanced for loop, where you have the int values, then you can have the number. So you introduce it. This one was introduced in Java 5 versions. Mostly they are ideal for iterative arrays and collections in nature. So decision making statements, we have the if, so that you can be able to use them with either for or do whiles or whatever. So you can combine else, both of them somewhere there. So if you can use the Boolean expressions, then plus one statement there. Then we have the if else, where you can execute else when the statement is false. Yes. So you can do the else if the statement, all the conditions have been checked and they don't meet the condition. Then we have the nested if, which you can use the if inside another if and still get the results. Then we have the switch, which is testing the variables against the list of values. We shall see that practically. First of all, I just want you to get to know them. Modifiers and packages and imports. So we have private modifiers, default modifiers, and protected modifiers and public modifiers. So when you are using non-access modifiers such as static, final, abstract, synchronized, then you also need to know where should you use them in a very proper way. So private have the same class. You can do it within inside the same class, but same package you cannot be able to use them. You cannot also use the private modifier inside the subclass. You cannot use the private modifier everywhere because it cannot be accessed everywhere. It's only accessible within the same class. Then you have default. Default can be accessed through the same class and also can be accessed through the same package, but it cannot be able to be accessed within the same within the subclass or everywhere within your code. It will be restricted. Then you have protected one, which can be accessed through the same class, can be accessed through the same package, and can be accessed through the same subclass, but it cannot be accessed everywhere by other classes because it's protected and access needs to be approved. Then we have the public, which can enable you to access it within the same class, the same package, the same class, and everywhere. So public can be accessed everywhere. Then we have the non-access modifiers, which when you are using static, that's why you are saying public static void main. Why is it static? It's a class level method variable that is shared across all the instances. And when you are saying public final, then it means that you are preventing modifications. No further modifications can be done to that class. So the final class cannot be extended, or you cannot be able to use inheritance on such a class. When you're using public final or private final, it cannot be inherited anywhere. Therefore, the final variable cannot change. Then we have abstract class. This is a class with the abstract method that subclasses must implement them within that setup. Then we have the synchronized, where we are using the thread safe methods only to the threads at the same time. So you can use only one at the same time. You cannot be able to use many of them in all the universal space. So I think that is much important thing to note there. Let's look at access modifiers here. So the Java access modifiers are used to specify the scope of the variables, the data members, the methods, the classes, or the constructors around them. So what does it do? Mostly they help you to restrict and secure the access or the level of access of the data that you want to access within that class. So that is the functions of the access modifiers. Also, there are four types or different types of these access modifiers, and we have even looked at them: the private, protected, and public. Then we have that one which is called the default. So what are all these? Let's look at also class attributes. So given that the Java access modifiers, these are the default, the private, protected, and public within the class attribute. So default access modifiers, when you are using this, you must know that they are access modifiers that do not explicitly declare an access modifier for that class or a method. So mostly the method is declared without any access control. Mostly they are available to any class, other class in the same package. I think we have broken down on the other end, the slide that I've just finished. So the fields in an interface in this area are mostly public, static. So when you use final, it means that it is not, the changes cannot be made, and the methods in that instance are by default value. Like if you say public static final, and within there you have also used the non-argumentative uh, value, then parameters, then you get issues there, because now you have already made something that cannot be changed anywhere. Then you have examples of default access modifiers. Variables and methods can be declared without any modifier, as in the following examples. Let's look at this example. Yeah, string version you have mentioned, then you are using the boolean to order a certain value, and you are returning the truth. So that means that once you have assigned the value string version, it cannot be changed because this one is final. You have already said the string version is only 1.5.1. So in case that there is a new version which is 2.0.1, it cannot be printed out unless you declare them all down here. So we have private access modifiers, which we say that the both it is used in both methods, variables, and constructors, and mostly they are declared as private only because we want it to be accessed within the declared class itself, not elsewhere. So that's what happens there. So the private access modifiers is most restrictive. A class and interfaces cannot be private. So never declare your class as a private, or an interface there that you have as also as a private. No, that's why you see when we are creating a class there, we have it by default, it comes as public class something, fresh juice and whatever. So it doesn't come as private. Variables are that are declared private can be accessed outside the class. But if the public getter or get the methods are always presented within the same class area. So that is very, very, very important and essential to look at. So examples of private access modifiers, you can see them here. Public class, for example, the logger, to check the login credentials or the logs of your computer. Then you can have private string format. So at what format do you want them to be displayed? So the format here is, you can now get the format, then declare it using the this. So meaning that if you want to access that modifier format there, then you have to introduce the this special keyword here as the identifier to that. Then public void set the format, then refer to the string that we had declared there. We had declared this as private string format. Now you use it inside this area here, for you to, because what you declared here is what you have called here. And because now you have to assign here the format, then you have to introduce this then with the format that now you want to access, to refer to that, to point to that. Now this is within the get. What about when you are setting? So you are setting the format now to point to what you had declared here as your variable. Before now you introduce this, what you returned here, now you have to assign it a value here, which is the format. Okay, so that is what is available there. Examples of private access modifiers, we say that the format variable access files you can have to retrieve some values. So to make variables available to the outside variables, you must define two public methods. One is get format and set format. That's why we have used them there. Uh, the logger, it was always the private, so we have done that, and then you have the, so passing parameters by value in Java. How do you pass the parameters by value? So you can do that. You can write that for our class called logger, so that you can be able to pass that value, that parameters by value. So what parameter here has been passed by value? There is assignments of the string format, and we have assigned it a certain value here called text. So you have the log, and then you are setting it a format to have the value. So you've set the value there of the logger to have a text, so that you can be able to print it out on that getting. So we'll be able to implement that. So you can implement that also within the code. Can implement that within the code, so that you can, as well as finish that as needed. Passing parameters by value in Java. Passing parameters in value by Java. So we can do that. We can write that very fast before we end this session. We can pass those values. So let's go to this, and can close this. So I can create here called passing parameters. I can create here a package, name it passing parameters. So that is it. So this is a new package created here. So you can finish. Inside here we can create a class, and we can name it logger, and finish that. So you can open that and we can remove this, and then I can open here, come to pass in the parameters here. We can have this, so you can code here very fast. So we can have the private, we can have the private string, and we are going to give it either the log message, or we want it to print for us the format. So we can have it as the format there. So then we have to have the private string here, private. Then we are going to give the string, and for this string we private string, then we have to get the format here, get the format. Once we have the format, then we are going to return the format, but we have to introduce the this dot format area here, so that we can explain here that this is a variable thing. So we are getting the string get format here as what we have declared here. Now after this, we can now be able to have some private void to be able to set our string format here. So we can have that, and then so that we can have a void setting the format, string format, and then assign the method that sets the value of the instance variable format. So we are setting this format to assign it to a format section. So after that, now we can be able to create now the public class. Can now be able to create the public class here. So you can say now here public class main. You can even say public class passing parameters, and then we can be able to, but we can just say public class main, so that we can have our functionalities in that area then done here. So within this main, we're going to have our public static void main with some arguments, and then we have to create what is called an object here by calling its method, and then we also have to assign the text. Now either you assign it with JSON, or we can assign the text here to be just text. Yeah, if you want to call with JSON, then you can be able to pick the JSON text there. Then for this one here, we need to know what do we do here. So we are getting the value. We are getting the value here. That is called the get format method to print out the log format, which means that we are getting the value of that. So that is what we are doing there. And for this one here, we are setting the log format to that. That means that we are setting the value log format using the set value. That means that we are setting the value here to that. So I can change this to asterisk and then bring this one down here, and then I can do that. So that one is okay. So we have assigned this logger here. This logger, we are setting it a format here called text or JSON or whatever that you want to assign there. So that could be the, so here passing the parameter main and so on. So we can fixing this. May I see? It's just down from, oh shit. Does it mm, all right, yeah. But why should it send me to what I have already done? Let me see if I can do it. Keyboard. Okay, can still do that very fast here. Can just have public class main. And then here we are creating that. We are creating that. We are creating that. So here we are saying this is the logger message, or you can just say a text. You can say this is the log message here. So we are getting this. And setting this parameter. After setting this parameter, can be able to, and we open here, drop this one here, set the parameter. Easily this one is here, this one is here. Can add that. Which parameter is not closed. Okay. Um, how many do we have here? Some is here, this one is here, and then this one here needs to be closed such that this one gets out of here. It needs to come here. Then we can remove this one from here. So here we are saying the logger. Logger, we can give here the log. Change this on the log. And change this on the log to get the format. Get format. You say get format somewhere here. Get format, we have it here. System out print line. String passing parameter log. Get format, which is okay. This is a public class here. The last public static void main. String arguments. Then we have created the object of the logger. We have set the value here to the logger. We are setting the value. The instance. Here we are getting the value of the instance. Now we have to get here, get the message. Get method this from the type logger is not visible. Not visible. That means the return this format. Okay, it's not visible here. So that is just write it, then we shall fix any error available. I think these are the two that we want to show the errors on them. So I think this is very critical. Return this format, and then this format equals to format. Is it public void? Yes, public void set format, string format. Then after that we have cleared here private string format. This is a private string format. Get formats. Print line will have to get string format. Yeah. So that is how you can, because you can see here it's telling you that there's a warning that it is not accessible. It is not accessible. And within here, that's what we were trying to get parameter by value in Java method. So here we are saying that you will have an error whereby the error will show you that the class is not accessible on the other end. Therefore, you'll have to be able to fix it in that space. So for you to fix that so that it can be able to be visible here, you have to go to get format class here, and then you have to change this one to private to public. That's when it can now be able to access itself in this area. So I think that is the end that I want to end today in that area, and then share with you all this so that you can as well as go through them and implement any remaining parts that is within that code. Any question up to there? I'll be glad and happy to hear. So if we want that one to be seen on the other end, unless we say here public. So if we say here public, then we'll be able to see this error here disappearing. See that? So once the error has disappeared, because we have assigned this class now to be public, then when we save this and then we come here and then we go to passing parameters here, and then you tend to run this. You can see that this is the log message. So it's running now because you have changed now this to be public. But if you leave it the way it was as private, then it means that it's not accessible. Therefore, you continue seeing this error at this area because it's not public. So to fix it, then you have to come here on the get format and then make it to be public so that it can be accessed within this class here, the main method here. Okay. And this is the message that you are seeing. That's for the setting of the log for our log files. So that is the results that you are supposed to have. But we've shown you how to pass those parameters in a very, very special way and easy way. So I can as well as share this within this part. Hope it has come. Yes. So that is how you can be able to deal with these things. So I think we can be able to see now protected access modifiers, which I've already explained. You'll just look at that and then try to to demonstrate this, the use of protected access modifiers. When you are at home there, you'll have this code within the slide. Try to do that so that we can be able to meet next. So types of modifiers, I think we have already finished with them. The only thing that has remained is now to look at access modifiers and all these inheritance and so on. I think I've explained that summarized on the other one. So what you'll just do is just write these codes. This one you can use it as this one we had finished for the puppy on access modifiers with inheritance. So we finished with that. Inheritance, you look at that, look at the need for Java inheritance, importance of inheritance, need for Java inheritance here. We shall look at that now in the next session. I think now with the codes, but still you have the access to them. You can easily read them because I've already summarized them in this code there. So let me just make this ready for you, and then you will be able to complete with that part, so that next class we start with something else. There you go. So I'm going to send you just now all this and also what we had discussed here. I think for this one, I've finished with constructors. We have reached where we are operators. Just look at some 2 to 3 codes to implement the operators. I'll be able to look at that. Then we are in control structures. And this one also, we shall be able to do some practicals now on this area for you to complete that. I think that is key. Unless you have a question, may I want to end there so that you can have lunch and move to another session. Any query up to there? There being no question, I can read the attendance so that we can end this session. Those who are not present here now, they'll be able to know themselves, outsort themselves. Object-oriented programming. You can see some two members here.